Okay, and then on the other side of Mars, Curiosity. Last month we celebrated its 2000th day on Mars, and so now we're up to day 2033. And the lay of the land there is very different. They're actually inside this very large 100+ kilometer diameter impact crater called Gale Crater. And there was the landing site. There's a mountain of sedimentary rocks in the center of the crater that they're actually climbing toward. And I think right now they're sort of over in this general vicinity, but we have a map of that. So this is Mount Sharp shortly after landing, a little bit closer view of that. And so what they're trying to do is examine all of the discrete layers as they get higher and higher. And the older layers are on the bottom. As they get higher, they sample younger rocks, and so that gives them a history of the environment when the rocks were laid down. And so here's the view from orbit. This was their landing site. This is a collection of very large sand dunes. And where they're at, or have been for quite a while, is in this vicinity on a ridge called Vera Rubin that is very rich in hematite, iron sulfate mineral that is a good indication of water activity in this area as well. And so this is a little bit closer view of where they actually are right now. And here's Vera Rubin. You can barely see the writing there, but here's where they've been on top of this ridge. And what they're doing now is gradually moving off to the edge to climb down off of the ridge, and then they'll come around this way and start proceeding toward the mountain again. And so this is the view, this is the edge of the ridge. They'll be coming over here and moving down that slope. So just a quick update. We've talked about this quite a few times in the past. The aluminum wheels of the rover are suffering from driving over sharp rocks. And so here this was taken just a couple days ago. You see the rips in the wheels, and you can sort of understand how that happens. This is a view of a rock underneath the rover, or that they're driving over, and it's a lot of the rocks are sculpted by the wind. They have very sharp edges, and that they've determined can damage the wheels as we see. And so for the last several years, they've been very conscious of this, and they try to map out the route to where they're intending to go, and where they can, they avoid rocky areas and tend to stick to the sandy or gravelly areas. But about every couple hundred meters of driving, they take a series of images. And so this is from the end of the robot arm looking under the rover, and it's another way to examine the damage on the wheels. And so far their mitigation strategy has been working. They're not seeing a lot of progression in the degradation of the wheels, but the area that they're heading toward as they get closer and closer to Mount Sharp, at least some of the areas appear to be quite rocky, and so that's going to be slow going as they get closer. But so far so good. The wheels are still hanging in there. And this was taken about 100 days ago or so of the area that they're heading toward. And so this is is a mesa in between where they are and the mountain. But this area, this darkish area, has the signature of clay minerals as well. And so that possibly is a lake bed, or an ancient lake bed, and that's what they're next heading to, is to examine that and determine the composition of those rocks. And so that'll likely be later this year by the time that they reach that. So recapping Curiosity, again, day 2033, almost 19 kilometers of driving and rapidly approaching 500,000 images. So we'll do another update next month.